Today we will be talking about basics in Rhino, and I'll start from units. When we open a Rhino file, we can go to this file drop-down menu and go to properties. In Rhino, there are always more than one way to access a command. I'd say typically there are two ways, but sometimes there are more than two ways to access one command. One way to get to here is from file menu and coming to units, and then we can look at the units we want. In Australia, we use usually millimeters, and 0.001 units is more than enough for Australia or in architecture. And for angle tolerance, let's say 1 is good enough for now. We use decimal places, and 0.001 is good enough for us. So let's click OK. And the other way to access this is through this command line. So you can come here and start writing, we'll write units, and it will bring us to the same place. Everything is done and everything looks good. Click OK and we're good to go. Now, in Rhino, we have 4 windows. As it says on top, this is a top window, front window, right, and a perspective view. This is a side bar and this is a top menu bar. We have different options to choose from: a line, a polyline, curves, circles, ellipse, or we can draw some more solid shapes. So we'll draw a box. I'll click on this icon and it says draw first corner. You should always look at this command area on top because it tells you what is Rhino expecting from you next. So first corner of base. So I'll select first corner of base. Other corner of base, you can either just drag the other corner point or you can write your dimensions. I'll go 300, comma 300, comma 300, and then height, press enter. Yeah, I've given height and width. For height, you can do eyeball it, just assume the height you want, or you can see that when I change the mouse, you have X as 300, we have Y as 300, and then the Z changes as I move my mouse. And maybe let's say we'll make it 600 instead of writing on top. This time I'll just look at because if you write, you can get exact dimensions. Let's say it is the height is 600. Now we have a cube here which is 300 by 300 and 600 in height. Now in Rhino we have different options. When you'll see a small arrow here, you can click on this arrow and you'll see this drop-down menu. You can select different display options from this menu. The first one is shaded. The next one is rendered. It shows you rendered view, and later on when we have materials, it will also show you the materials. And also you can see that we don't have any edges showing in this rendered view. This is ghosted, where you see through, where you can see through your object, and then X-ray is very similar, and the lines at the back are dotted, the lines at the front are more solid. Then artistic view shows like your form on a canvas. The next one is pen, monochrome, and I leave you guys to, we use monochrome a lot when we are drawing our drawings or sketches in Rhino. We can do Arctic is also a very useful one, ray traced. We'll stick to shaded for now. Okay. Rhino, there's a very powerful tool in Rhino which is called layers. So let's talk about layers. So I've created all these boxes, and now we can come here in this menu. For example, if you're here, you can click here, which is called layers. You can always come here and then click on this button, which says left click is new layer and right click is new layer with random color. If you click new layer, you'll see you get layer 1 with a default color, which is black, or you can right click and keep clicking and look at all the different colors. Now, let's start from, if I want to change color of this box, I'll come here, I'll click on the circle which says properties on it. I'll click on the drop down menu, and then I can select the layer I want this box to be on. And this is still on layer 4. So this box, is now on layer 4 and it has taken the color of the layer. Let's put this box on layer 5, this box on layer 6, and this box on layer 8. Now let's select all of these boxes and put them on layer 9. Now the advantage of you will come back to the layers menu. Now the advantage of having your different objects on different layers is, like, obviously you get all these colors, and the first advantage is if I turn off, there's a button which looks like a bulb, and it says, it's showing you in this menu the name of the layer, and it says on, and there's a yes next to it. If you click on this, we don't have anything on layer 2, so if you click on layer 3, we have nothing on layer 3 as well. Let's go towards layer 4, so we have this box which is on layer 4, and then if I click on it, you can see it turns off. So the layer is off, so it means on and off. So layer 4 is off. Click on it, it comes back on. Similarly for layer 5, on, off, layer 6, you cannot turn off your default layer, so your current layer. So this tick means that default is the current layer. If I double click on layer 6, then layer 6 becomes your current layer, which means anything you draw in Rhino now will be on your current layer. Cool. Now let's see. Next one is, first one is color. Let's talk about lock. Lock means right now you can see that I can move this box wherever I want, but if I turn the lock on, it means I cannot select this box, I cannot move this box. This helps in big projects when you have a lot of geometry. You can, for example, you just want to move your furniture, but not your walls. So you can put all your walls on one layer and then you can lock them. And then you can easily select your furniture and you can move where you want it to move. Next is color. Obviously, we have all these options of colors. So you can choose, maybe you want gold color, or you don't want this color, I want red, I want cyan, purple, or I don't like any of these colors and I want my own custom color for a box. So maybe I'll use this color or this color, or maybe I'll use this color, a slightly yellowish color. So done. Now, after this, the next one is, if we come here, select the box, it's locked, let's unlock it. Color, and after color is materials. We'll talk about materials later on, but we can change materials of project from the layers menu as well. We can select different materials. So default material is, let's leave it on plaster, and you can choose, let's leave it for later. And the next one in layers menu is, it's line type. We'll discuss line type in the next lecture, but today I just want to touch on basics of layers. And for example, we have unlocked this layer. We'll go back to the properties menu, and so we come back to this properties menu, and we can like display color for the layer is by layer, or we can do by pairing, or by material if you have selected the material, or we can do custom, and we can, even though it's on this layer 6, but it still has a green color. So we might need this more in bigger projects. And even though the view is set to shaded in this view, but because we have selected this particular layer to show as wireframe, so anything in this layer to start showing as wireframe, or we want it to be to show as a rendered view or as a monochrome, not monochrome, but Arctic, and we can show it in the different view settings as we want it to. Let's say by view. Line type and others we'll discuss in the next lecture. Layer color by print is similar print color of the layer. We can choose a different color for print, but different for layer. I would recommend, let's say maybe we want different colors for layers when we are working, but when we're printing them, maybe we want everything in black. We want all the lines in black, and we don't want all the different colors. So it gives you greater control over different things. Cast shadows, yes, no. And okay, now layers are done. Next one is sublayer. Now you can have sublayers under another layer, new sublayer, and let's say it's called, we can maybe call this layer floors. you can double click on a layer and it gives you the opportunity to, maybe the main layer is a house, let's say room 1, and then in that room the other layers are, for example, walls. The sublayer is walls. We can have new sublayer called floor, and then let's draw a room in the main layer, offset. I'll just quickly draw a room just for my example so that it's easier. Extrude curve, extrude curve, yes, solid, yes. Let's say it's 3 meters high. So I have a walls. All the walls I want to be in my room layer. So I just come here, room, select all my walls and to be in that layer. Now I'll draw a quick floor and I want turn the snap on. I'll draw my floor in this layer. Click on it and then walls. Now I can have individual control where I can turn off walls or my floor. My floor is not in floor layer. Let's choose floor and bring it into the floor layer. Let's change the color of floor to yellow and my walls are gray. So if I choose to close my room, I can close the whole room, or I can just close the walls. If, for example, I'm changing furniture, or I want to keep the walls on, just close the floor. So I can also do that. So we've discussed unit display, wireframe, layers, and sublayers. Thank you.